Most people recognize the name Glock for their excellent pistol invented in 1981 when a small Austrian curtain rod company entered the world of firearms by winning an Austrian military contract. Most would be surprised, however, that that was not their first foray into military procurement, as in the mid-70s, their first contract was won with their redesign of the Austrian military's knife bayonet. Let's take a closer look. Serp Garage. We're going to be talking Glocks today, but pistols like this Lipsy's exclusive Gen 1, going to be sitting it out today because we're going to be talking about knives. We're going to be visiting with the Glock knife. One might think Glock produced these knives to complement their successful line of pistols as an accessory for the product line, something to add to the catalog. But actually, it was these knives that we have to thank for the birth of the pistols they are so famous for. So Glock, an Austrian company, was founded by Gaston Glock in 1963. And by the mid-70s, they were experts in the manufacture of injection molded polymer plastic items used like for curtain rods, handles for pots and pans, anything that they could be contracted to make. This stuff was super strong, but pliable, and could be, molded into these complex shapes that can actually have functionality to them. And we'll take a look at this scabbard here as a perfect example. This is what I'm talking about, that even though it's a one-piece molded design, it has like a clip here. It has a belt loop here that can come apart like this. And even though it's pliable and movable, this stuff is super strong. This is what Glock was good at. It can be manufactured very fast and very cheap, which is going to be something that led them down the road to success. Because in 1976, the Austrian Special Forces Hunting Command of the Austrian Army was looking to replace their field knife, which was the Ziegler 77 military knife. It had some features they wanted to improve upon. They wanted to eliminate some of the shortcomings, and Gaston Glock took notice of this because his expertise in creating single-piece injection moldings could eliminate many, if not all, of these problems with the Ziegler 77 that the military was pointing out. Whatever was wrong with the design that the Austrian Army was concerned with. And it would also be cheaper and easier for them to produce. A lot of people believe Glock designed this nice knife themselves. They see these and they go like, wow, look, Glock put together a cool knife, polymer here, polymer there. But this was not designed from top to bottom by them. It was an improvement of an already existing design, the Ziegler 77. Also a cool knife, but it's kind of like the knife that started this whole design. Glock just kind of stepped in and improved on it, in ways the Austrian military was requesting. And they created a knife following the Ziegler's design, but with a retention clip and a belt loop, like I said, integrated into this one-piece design. The blade was 6.5 inches long, 2/10 of an inch thick and 11 inches overall at 7.3 ounces in weight. It had a clip point blade made of 1095 carbon steel with a hardness of 55 HRC. And you'd have to look all that stuff up online and to see exactly what these things are. But pretty strong steel. I've heard that these things can hold a pretty decent edge. Nothing crazy. The original ones had a phosphate coating. These were the originals because these are not, this is a civilian version. Cover that a little bit later, but the early examples are very collectible and they can be distinguished from these because these have a what they call an electrophoretic paint coated coating. Very durable, pretty cool, but not a phosphate coating. When you see this coating on them, then you know that these are the civilian versions. You could also tell the older phosphated ones by the logo. The logo is going to be a round logo, not this oval logo. The round logo ones are definitely more collectible, and they are the older ones. You're definitely going to see less of these out there. These are the older ones. And if they're the original phosphated, the original phosphate coating is another giveaway that these are the older ones. So this design that Glock submitted, it was accepted, and this was called the M78 field knife. This was born with an initial order of 25,000 knives that him and his wife had to work day and night injection molding round the clock to honor the deadline. But they did it, and they were made with such requirements as having the ability to be thrown. They needed the balance a certain way so that they would be able to be thrown. They wanted to incorporate a plug in the handle back here that can be removed and would uncover a socket that could engage a bayonet adapter that could be fitted to Austria's Steyr AUG rifle. It had a bend over here that they put in so it could clear the flash hider, and this functioned as a bottle opener. What could this thing not do, huh? Pretty cool. And this contract, right? So this is a big contract making these knives, and this led to some strong relationships in the field of manufacturing, this stuff for the military and other items like I read machine gun belts, training grenades. There were a couple other things that were like odd. Just it would just be like clips or parts for certain things, but you couldn't really tell what they were. But the machine gun belts and the training grenades were just kind of like complete items, and the other stuff was just small items, But in 1981, Austria, once again, looking for a big contract to replace its military handgun, and Glock once again won this contract with its polymer constructed Glock 17, then called the P80. And also in 1981, the field knife was augmented with a new version. I had this I had this the wrong way around. Well, this was the original. Sorry, this is the 78. Had the wrong one out here on the table all this time. So this was the this is the model 78. I'm not doing this video over again because of that. And it was augmented in 1981 with the M81. I think that's a coincidence, but the M81 survival knife, which differed from the 78, sporting a saw back blade. I was doing research and switching these around, so that's why I messed these up. But interestingly, this 81, right? This can be found on anywhere, eBay, Amazon. You could buy this for $35 with the sawback looking just like this. This is where I got it. Even just looking it up and researching it again, Amazon's like, you purchased this, whatever it showed me when I bought it. Same seller is even still selling it. The 78 is going to be a little bit tougher to find. Even though these are both the civilian versions, I kind of think they stopped production of this one. I don't think they make them anymore with the non-sawback, the 78. These you'll find, they're still under $100, but I think you find them around 60, 70, $80. And so look out for that. If I'm saying that they're cheap, that they're $35, and you look it up and you see a 78, they're going to be more. It's going to be this sawback one. So so in 81 they released that. Both of these knives are produced in these civilian versions, obviously, that I have them here, and you can find the originals also. They're virtually identical to the military versions, but again, photophoretic coated blade as opposed to the original's phosphated finish. These things are super affordable. The retention clip and belt clip are super strong. They function well. The plug and the pommel can be removed. Even if you don't have a Steyr AUG, you out in the field, you could use a stick, like a long straight branch that's the right size, and you could fit it into that hole to create a spear for a survival knife. Survival knife functionality in that way is pretty cool. For trying to spearfish or something. I mean, listen, if you're out there, when you talk about survival, being able to attach a knife to a stick is, I can imagine that would come in pretty handy for a lot of things. Other features are a drain hole in the sheath, a lanyard loop. These are nice additions to this, this one piece design like that, that you just crank this out with one injection molded piece, and you have all of these things in it. That is pretty cool. So, Glock has certainly come a long way since 1981, and it's interesting to think that they owe a lot of their success of this knife design to have gotten the ball rolling, making them one of the most successful firearm producers of all time. It's an interesting lineage. These knives, they definitely would complement a Glock collection nicely. They have collector's anniversary editions available, color variations, different age variations. These are the kind of things that keep collectors interested, That's why even me, I had to get two of them just because I thought it was interesting that they had these two separate designs. And, if I saw a round logo one out there someplace on a table at a gun show or a knife show, and the price was right, and I liked the condition, I'd pick up another one. That kind of collectibility is what gives you a lot of interest in them. So I put links to some of my Glock pistol videos down below in the description if you want to check those out and explore some more Glock history, like the Lipsy's exclusive Gen 1. And thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time.